So I was asked a question last week on whether or not the Autel EVO is still worth the purchase 1 year later, and what was my experience with owning this drone for a year. Well, the short answer is, yeah, this is still worth it 1 year later. It's the best price to value drone on the market today. So if you don't want to stay through the whole video, I'm going to tell you that this is still worth the purchase. If you want to know my entire experience with owning this for a year, stick around. What's up? Welcome back, everybody. My name is Original Dobo, and on my channel I do drone and tech related content. So if that's at all interesting, definitely go ahead, hit that subscribe button before you leave this video. So I was probably one of the first people that were able to get my hands on an EVO last June, and I've had some mixed experiences with this drone, but mostly all good. So here we are 1 year later since this was released, and I have to say I'm pretty much pleasantly surprised and happy with the performance of this drone. Overall, I've owned 3 EVOs throughout the course of the year, and I've flown all of them and traveled with all of them pretty regularly and put them through their paces and really just sort of haphazardly abused them. I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty hard on these. This unit right here I've had for about 4 months now, I think, 3 months. It does have a custom skin on it, and actually this was a warranty from Autel. I'll talk about that more here in a moment. But all in all, on the market today, you have a handful of portable drones: Mavic 2 Zoom, Mavic 2 Pro, Autel EVO is one of them. Of course, you have the Parrot Anafi and a couple of other drones that are out there now, but none of them pack as much bang for buck value as the Autel EVO. Now, I'm not gonna do some crazy B-roll type of video. I just wanted to keep this pretty simple and to the point. This thing with the 4K 60 and just the beautiful colors and dynamic range that this is pushing, and the ability to shoot 10-bit and H.265, it's pretty amazing. The small form factor does make it nice to travel with. I compare it a lot to the Mavic. With the wider field of view, you can get a lot of different shots, and not having any geofencing or restrictions is certainly nice. I'm not saying to abuse that, but if you're on the cusp of an area and you're in a safe zone, it is nice not to have like those nagging restrictions that usually come with the DJI software. Battery life is pretty phenomenal. I do rock 5 batteries for this. Roughly, I'm getting about 25 minutes of flight time out of these batteries, even still today, and that's with rotating batteries. So your mileage on all of what I'm talking about may vary depending on, how many batteries you have and just your environment and how you treat your drone. There are some things that still annoy me about this drone. Honestly, I hate this gimbal cover. It falls off so many times when traveling, but it's never damaged the gimbal, luckily. The batteries are still glossy, which, I mean, that's personal preference, and they are orange. I went ahead and had mine wrapped with a altitude wrap skin, which I think looks pretty good and sort of solved the issue of scratching the top. And it just, to me, looks much better all black. I sort of like that. The wide angle lens on this, the 94-degree field of view, you're going to either love it or hate it. Some people don't like it because they tend to get props in their shot when they're flying and they don't have the pitch set correctly. Countless videos I've done, I've accidentally got props in the shot, and I've had to scrap lots of footage because of that. But that wide field of view does have some benefit. I don't have to fly as high to capture either a whole property, or maybe I'm just trying to capture something and I just don't find myself having to tax out, the height when I'm filming in video. The 4K 60 is definitely nice. I do find myself using that and slowing footage down. Typically, you'll never find that I do very many videos in 60 frames per second. A lot of times what I do is I'll take that 60 and drop it into a 24p timeline and get some really nice, super smooth, silky shots, and it looks great, and it also works well when you're trying to account for the sun. Having that higher shutter speed does work out because we don't have a adjustable aperture here, and that's, to me, is one of the biggest disappointments. It is a compact sensor, but I think that this is probably one of the most capable compact sensors, and for $999, there's just a lot to love about this. The controller, having that built-in OLED display on the controller is sort of a novelty for me. I never found myself really using it because it wasn't ever bright enough to use it standalone. I always had to rely on my phone, And after a period of time, I ended up using a DJI Crystal Sky with the Evo. The maps and things like that weren't working, but at least it was bright enough for me to see what I was doing. But I always just found myself using my smartphone. Now the controller is another sort of hot thing that has some issues that have plagued me. You can see I don't have the stock antennas on it anymore. I actually upgraded to the the Four Hawks adapter, just because I found that this was something that could help improve my range, and then also it eliminated the fact that I was having problems with the antennas constantly depinning. So the pins in the stock antennas just push out, and even if you're super careful, they're going to eventually fall out, and you'll either have to send it in to warranty or devise a solution on your own. My advice, and I never advise anybody to void their warranty, but this honestly was a really great solution for me, and it worked out really well. It's a little less portable than what it was before, but I find it works pretty well. Another thing, the smart controller, or the smartphone holder on the controller, if you're not careful, these little pads can back off, but I mean, that's an easy fix just with gluing it. It all is going to depend on really how much and how often you use this drone. Now, I've seen a lot of creators recently get their hands on this drone and give their opinions, but the problem with that is none of these creators have flown this a lot. I've flown this pretty much every single week for a year. I mean, every single chance I can use this in my business, I have, and it's been a phenomenal drone. I don't notice any stress cracks on the body, and the primary areas where you're going to really want to watch for cracks are on these fair ends here. But again, I haven't really noticed any crack in here, even, you know, with the skins on here. Obviously you can't see it now, but if I was ever in concern, I would go ahead and peel it back. Underneath here, you have 2 access points which mount the arms. Don't see any stress cracks there. Everything feels as firm as it did as the day I bought it. And honestly, it just works really well. Again, you've heard me talk about the improvements I would like to see with the newer version, but honestly, if you're looking for a drone in 2019 and you don't want to spend upwards to $1,500 on one of the Mavics, this is honestly a great option. If you're not looking for like OcuSync level range and you're okay with, you know, 4 miles, which honestly should be plenty for many, and some pretty decent obstacle avoidance, this works really well. Granted, it doesn't have all the bells and whistles and the crazy software like DJI and all the, you know, flight modes and different things of that nature that we've come to grow and love. But what it does lack in flight modes, it makes up in just general characteristics of the fact that it doesn't track you. There's no big brother. You don't have to sign up for an account, and the warranty's pretty good. Their support is based out of the US. My experience in using them has been relatively pleasant. I really haven't had any problems, and this was even before, you know, I started doing this and, you know, filming these videos. All in all, I'm really happy with it. A year later, if I had to do this all over again, I'd still purchase it. And matter of fact, you know, my first Evo, I did buy that first drone and I paid full price for it. I just happened to get it a little bit early, and honestly, I don't regret it at all. It's been such an awesome little product, and I don't think I could be able to do what I do without this drone. So there's a lot to like about it. I really look forward to future updates. Software is pretty much current. They take care of any issues and they listen. So, I mean, what more can you really ask for? So if you're on the fence about this, I'd say go ahead, pull the trigger. I mean, worst case is you don't like it, you can always return it. That's what return policies are for. But with 30 minutes of flight time on average, it's quiet, somewhat stealthy, even though it's orange. I'm happy, no regrets, 1 year later. If you enjoyed this style of conversation video, guys, make sure you drop it a like. If you didn't, that other button tends to work just as fine. And as always, guys, stay original.